Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. All right, let's get start today agenda of what exactly we're gonna do today for this 1 hour session. Basically, we are into this migration T050. Okay, migrate Azure workloads into this cloud landscape. Okay, so before jumping to this, introduction and all, I just want to focus on this, content, which currently we are focusing of DP 050, and which is the scope of DP 300 as well. Okay, so this is completely, 30 minutes, 30 hours total and 20 days duration. And here it is going to cover for complete migration landscape workloads we're going to cover. And this module or the content, it's completely, well-versed, experienced, those who are already existing DBSs working in the different cloud platforms are, they want to switch into the cloud migration too. So they can able to, learn this course. Basically, it is advanced level kind of concepts. And just, yeah, this is completely advanced level concepts. We can leverage this your skills, existing skills into this one. Okay, so let me, introduction myself. Okay, so myself, Bhimana Kamara, you can call me Bhim. Okay, so I have 15 plus years of experience IT as a cloud database architect and a cloud SME. I worked, around 6 plus years of, GCP and Azure. Okay, so I am certified in MCT. Okay, so TP 300, Azure 70473, and GCP PCDSDA. So these are the, certifications I done, and we are working as a cloud migration factory agreement to the Microsoft, contractor vendor. Okay, so from the reputed organization. Okay, so this is all about me. Okay, so coming to this, agenda, where cloud technologies, which is having, our trusted cloud DB experts. It is dealing with the multiple clients for Azure and the GCP, purely for the database support and the migrations workloads. And the delivery of the content is basically, this is only for online delivery, online course, which we are going to start every month 5th. We do have, portfolios like, Azure SQL DBA and GCP SQL DBA and Migrate Azure workloads to this TP050. Okay, so this is our regular batches, and it will got start, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. IST every day, Monday to Friday. It is 20 days as a GCP SQL DBA or Azure SQL DBA. And we do have, a lot of delightful support here, like one-to-one assisting and classroom training provided with the materials as well as the recordings as well. Okay, so this is all about here. And coming to this, Azure cloud landscape related what we are going to do, the DP050. Basically, it is a completely, migration related stuff. And here it is, why we are into this Azure SQL with this cloud Azure. Okay, so we can see this, completely Azure is last 3 to 4 years. It is, rapidly increasing their business sector in a public cloud. Okay, so comparing to other cloud vendors, okay, so AWS, Azure, GCP. Okay, so AWS is started 12 years back, but it is already sustaining the market. All the professionals is available, and but still it is in market leader. And Azure is started, last 5 years back. So comparing to the growth prospect of AWS to Azure, Azure is one of the fastest, growing market. In fact, GCP as well. Comparing to AWS, Azure, GCP is having, a lot more services and a lot more uh, affordable prices as giving the GCP. And most of the, entrepreneurs and their workloads moving to this AWS, Azure to Google as well. But still, Azure is giving to the cost prospect of, Azure is SQL related stuff. It is, one of the best cloud vendor. So that's what we just, focusing, Azure SQL. Okay, comparing to AWS and Azure, RDBMS related stuff, Azure is giving a lot more, flexibility to comparing to other cloud vendors. All right. Now, if you guys is aware of, there is a lot cloud deployment models. We do have, service module and the deployment models. This is common for all the cloud vendors, not only for, AWS, Azure, GCP. We do have IBM Cloud and Alibaba Cloud, Salesforce and VMware. So this is the couple of cloud vendors available. Across these cloud vendors, the service and the deployment modules are the same. And if you could see this, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, it is infrastructure as a service and platform as a service and the software as a service. So this infrastructure as a service is basically this all are in a cloud, but infrastructure as a service has given to give you the more flexibility of controlling of the underlying, hardware related stuff. You have a more flexibility. You will feel that how the on-premise is going to work, the same kind of approach it will work over here. And also the PaaS model, platform as a service. Basically, this is like the underlying hardware and the software component it is going to leverage. But when you go for the managing of data, you are focusing only for the data related stuff. Okay. So software as a services, it's basically it is end product like, Office 365 kind of thing. At this moment, the SQL related stuff, it is not spoken to the IaaS environment, but we are more focusing of IaaS and the PaaS one. All right. So we do have, deployment modules, a private cloud, community cloud, public cloud, and the hybrid cloud, right? So a private cloud is like, you have a dedicated uh, tenant where you are going to utilize account, specific, account they are going to use in the tenant, in the sense under this tenant, you are going to utilize your resources. You'll do have deployments of your workload like, VM, storage, apps, whatever. Okay, so you can go and leverage that, your one environment in the cloud landscape. No one is not going to, access you are the authorized, and whoever access having your organization, so they're only can able to, access your environment. The other one is a public cloud. The public cloud is basically, it is, hold resource kind of thing. Okay, so where you can able to utilize your, complete resources. Okay, so it's for example, public, like a public park. Okay, so you have some sort of some sort of flexibility to anywhere you can in any time you can go and leverage your services over here. Okay. So it's a community cloud. The community cloud is nothing but there are certain rules and rules they are going to define. Accordingly, you have to uh, utilize the services. Let's say you can take it as banking sector is a one of IT is a one sector, and insurance is one kind of sector. So health insurance. So and let's say best example is a bank. You have HDFC account. You will go and withdraw your amount to the SBI kind of okay or ICSS. How it is possible? So there are certain rules and regulations is defined for this particular community or the sector. Accordingly, you have to plan your resources and utilize this. So this is in a community cloud. So you have a pooled model kind of thing over here. And last one is a hybrid cloud. It's basically, the workloads as a, organization, you are going to run some sort of services into the Azure and some sort of services in the Google. And you do have, complete production into the on-premises, rest of workloads into the cloud landscape. So that is the case actually, you can able to have some flexibility over here. Okay, so the hybrid cloud is going to integrating or connectivity happening on-premises to cloud and the cloud to cloud. So this is what hybrid cloud. So here is our top cloud vendors basically AWS, Azure, GCP, and IBM, Alibaba, Salesforce. So there's a top more cloud vendor which is having Microsoft market share. So still it is not even 50% is crossed, but the cloud is how uh changes is going to happening with the IT sector basically. Okay. So you will get a lot more opportunities to and this cloud, any one of the cloud, you can able to learn and enhance your skill so that you can at least sustain next 3 to 4 years. It's best suit for you to sustain in the IT market. Okay, so why we should go for the Azure as well? Comparing to other cloud vendor, AWS, Azure, GCP, basically we have a lot more opportunities, feasibilities in the past capabilities, and hybrid connectivity, security. So enterprise agreement and advantages and the learning curve also we have a lot of scope to do the things over here. So what we call here, so hybrid solution connectivity. So the VNet and the VNet peering and all, the network standpoint of Microsoft, advanced comparing to AWS. Okay. And enterprise agreement coming to this, a lot of products is available, Office 365, SQL Server and all, comparing to other cloud vendor. Microsoft is going to give, nearly to the 30 to 40% of cost reduce is going to happen. Let's say if you want to use this SQL Server into the AWS or Google, so they are going to charge 10 times better than 10 times extra of what Microsoft is going to offer. I'm just talking about only to the SQL related stuff. Okay, so we have learning curve, like we have a lot of documents and a lot of sites to the Microsoft dedicated offering to learn this entire stack of cloud. Okay, so we can able to leverage this one. All right. Okay, so just we talked about the cloud computing services in a traditional manner, whatever we are going to use for the networking storage, servers and virtualization, OS, middleware, runtime data applications. Basically, here is cloud landscape, sorry, on-premises, which we are going to maintaining end-to-end. We have separate BUs is maintaining of the network team, storage team, server, virtualization OS, and a middleware, and a database team and application team, right? But when you go for the cloud landscape, what it is going to offering you, okay? So the underlying, hardware component, Okay, so it means the networking, storage, and virtualization. Okay, so this underlying hardware component, it is going to provide the cloud vendor. Rest of the things you have to maintain. Like you want to Windows, we can install Windows, and like you want to install Linux, you can install whatever you require based upon business requirement. You can install and utilize, and middleware, runtime data, whatever the data, like SQL, MySQL, and Oracle, whatever you want, you can go and install and you can manage it. So you have some sort of controlling apart from this, underlying hardware component. But when you go for the platform as a service, so the underlying hardware component, including the voice, it is completely managed with you. You just need to focus on your data only. Okay, this is the platform as a service. The software as a service, it is a complete, full bloom of stock to service utilize. Office 365, and like, you can consider as a Google Drive as one of the software as a service. We just using, the service, but it is, deployed in somewhere, their data centers at the cloud also. All right. So this is all about, infrastructure as a service and platform as a service and software as a service. Okay, so coming to the sequel, basically, if you can see back to our 15 to 20 years back. Okay, so normally we have physical infrastructure services. We have completely physical machines. Okay, so we have a CPU, RAM, and dedicated server room, and the network configuration room. Cooling it is required. So there is a physical component to individual server which you need to go and assemble them, and you just need to install manually, configure whatever you required, business requirement to do maintenance. It is a dedicated administrators require application team and the development team, network team, storage team. So that's what it is, dedicated higher cost. Why? Because each and everything you're gonna maintaining and administration too. And then I had to move the virtualization concept to VMware and the hypervisor, which is, comes into the market. There is some sort of flexibility to underlying hardware component. We can, segment the multiple VMs. Okay, so where we can able to, install and utilize your, VMware's VMs are the VM servers to based upon your requirement. So there is a underlying hardware component. Okay, ESXi server by hypervisor. So on top of it, we can have multiple VMs where you can able to use for one is for application related. Okay, so and the other one is database related. Likewise, you can able to use here, and so there is some sort of cost got reduced. Okay, comparing to here, and visualization is equal to visualization. It got reduced 20 to 30% of thing. Okay, then after that, IT has came into this picture of the cloud. Okay, so which has got started initially IBM, but it is not successful. AWS got succeeded. Okay, so AWS is success in their product and utilize over here, and Azure SQL VM and infrastructure as service, where we can see that uh, this uh, VM utilization, and there is some cloud vendor is introduced. Okay, so we have infrastructure as service, and top of the hardware component which is providing, and the and this application and all we're going to use here, and there is some sort of cost is going to reduce. Now this platform as a service is basically Azure SQL database and virtualized databases over here. So we have a lot more administration cost, lower administration cost, and shared lower cost. So this is what the journey is going to happening. Now we are completely in most of the companies is towards the cloud. They're moving. All right. So why the customers is going to choose the migrations things? Basically, data center mm, uh, contract expiry and software end of support, quality of ingest acquisitions and urgent capacity needs in the software, hardware refreshment and the security compliance and application. So you just need to take it up this mm, pick it up this only the blue blue one. Okay, so why? Because data center contract expiry, let's say you have hundreds of servers and you are maintaining some vendor or your own. Okay, so that it is going to business continuity is not work, so that it is required migration process, or else you want to move from the cloud. Okay, this is it is going typically the enterprise customers and all focusing on to migrate and software and support. So whatever you can take the software product, there is a limited feasibilities to leverage the services to make uh, uh, long-term things. Okay, so here is the software and support. Whatever you are going to take the product, that should be some sort of period. So post that you just need to again purchase, and again you have to migrate the things. Okay, so that it is going to give the some sort of flexibility into the cloud landscape. Why? Because you don't need to bother about the software related support things. It is going to manage and maintain. So this is one of the customer choose to migration. Quickly integrate acquisitions. Okay, this is one type of integration points to new collaborations and new innovations to want that it is not give the more flexibility on premises. But when you are into this cloud, that it is going to give some feasibilities and workload to utilize without developing. Okay, so urgent capacity needs. Let's say you are in a let's take in a Flipkart. Basically, the Flipkart is basically if you can festival times and the weekends, it is required a lot more resource to increase, right? But on premises, if you are that is not going to give that much of flexibility to make increasing of your hardware components and services, right? Where so on demand services is going to happen into the cloud landscape. So software hardware refreshment, let's say the you are running into the legacy models or 2008 2012 kind of thing, which is end of life support, which we require to refresh to the higher version or the latest version. So where which required in a software and a hardware refreshment over here. So this is going to give some sort of migration scope the customers towards all cloud vendors is giving the feasibility of this one. That's what every company looking forward to the migration of things. Okay, so security threats and the compliance and the application innovation too. So it is under the scope of the migrations. All right. So the other thing is, Azure is the best place to for the data. Okay, so we'll discuss later. And when you want to migrate, Azure SQL database, there is some feasibilities of providing of wide database option for your workloads. Basically, you have just before we discussed the on-premises SQL Server, where I just had a glimpse of information just before data center and VMware and OS, provisioning of the patching, security database, DR and application. This is typically we are going to maintain into this on-premises and when you want to move for cloud landscape, when you want to move into the cloud landscape, okay, so here is hybrid workloads too can able to execute and utilize here, and infrastructure as service in the platform as a service. So where we have, Azure Arc is enabled for the data services to Azure SQL and Azure SQL database and the Postgres as well. So high availability and the backups, DR, everything you can able to leverage here. Okay, so the other thing is platform as a service. So we do have virtualization hardware, data center maintenance, and all. So this is one kind of flexibility infrastructure as a service is going to happen. So what is the main advantage of this, hybrid cloud in the past? I asked. So hybrid cloud is basically you can leverage your services into the multi-cloud and infrastructure as service. So as I said, the hardware and all, which is going to manage by the cloud vendors, the below of this task or the it is going to manage to this uh, organization. Okay, so that is what it is going to happen in a normal scenario. Okay, so okay, so other thing is, platform as a service. If you can see, you are going to maintain and managing of everything here, and the rest of the only you need to, oh, sorry, cloud vendor is going to managing, and the rest of the application and data you are going to focus on. All right, so here is my Azure SQL. Okay, so we have a lot more flavors over here. So this is comes into this infrastructure as services. We have migration prospect of we have a lift and shift kind of scope is available. You can migrate your workload from on-premises to cloud landscape. Basically, okay, this is will give you the more flexibility towards managing of your workloads as is without changing of any software hardware related stuff, so you can just move lift and shift, we can use as is on premises. The other thing which we discussed just before, the platform is a service. Okay, so platform as a service, Azure SQL, and managed instance Azure SQL. So this is uh, greenfield kind of thing. You are developed the new application you want, database. Okay, so that it is going to give best suit for supporting of modern applications over here. The other thing is Azure SQL managed instance. It is fully compatible. It is 99%, 99% of fully compatible comparing to your on-premises workload. Okay, so this is going to give you the uh, almost all on-premises how we're going to utilize, but you are not having a control of underlying hardware, like where you cannot able to do some sort of patching and if you want to do some OS controlling of hardware controlling, which is not feasible, but still it is work as same as. Okay, and Azure SQL Edge is basically it is newly launched and which is going to integrate with your Azure SQL with the IoT apps to integrate Azure SQL Edge. Okay. Uh, all right. So the next is basically the cloud offering services. Which one is best suit for Azure SQL offering right for you? The app innovations and app modernization, the migrations. Okay, so that's what I just before we discussed, like app innovations. Basically, this is going to support nearly the 100 TB, so which is having new uh, startup companies, or you just innovated a new application. If you want the database services, okay, you can leverage this one to your more flexibility it is going to give, but complete stack of hardware, software, it is going to managed by the cloud vendor. You are having the only uh, the database can able to deploy and you can leverage here. Okay, so this is completely new application, or you want to do some sort of things here, you can utilize for the Azure SQL. And not only for new things, you can able to utilize for the existing workloads as well. It will give for the full compatibility of migration as well as a database, where you can able to have some sort of the DTU and the vCore model kind of thing. Okay, so DTU is basically a database transaction units, and vCore is we have licensing, existing licensing on premises that you can able to leverage. So app modernization towards, if your existing application you use to the same kind of approach on premises, you can leverage Azure SQL Managed instance. Okay, so it will compatible with the, both the things, new apps and the modern apps to develop the things, Azure SQL Managed instance. And migration, uh, so as is for your, Azure SQL VM is fully compatible with, on-premises one with respect to OS access and VM level and server version of, SSIS, RS you can able to do. But when you go for the Azure SQL Managed instance, Azure SQL, it is a different thing. Okay, so you have, different dedicated server you have to utilize, Azure Synapse and Azure Data Lake kind of thing, dedicated service we have available. So basically the past benefits is you have towards down, you have more cost, towards up it is a little bit of cost effective. Okay, so this is going to give less cost. Comparing to this, it is going to give some sort of uh, uh, cost comparison of this very high, but you are going to nothing to do here. Everything is management and by the Microsoft cloud vendor. Okay, so when you go for this, you have to take care of your patchings and backups and all. So extra administration, and also there is a cost. Okay. All right. So, and as I said, the migration prospect of we just had, couple of services. We have an Azure Data Factory, and we have an SSRS in which legacy models we are going to use with the Power BI as one stack to utilize for the reporting. And SSIS Azure, analytic Azure analysis services, like you can able to use the services in the cloud. SSAS is, this is, SQL Server services, services we can able to leverage. Okay, so this is all about the, uh, complete stack of migration process. Okay, so during the migration, basically what we're going to define, okay, the strategy implementation of, okay, so you just need to first of all discover the things to migrate the uh, on-premises to cloud landscape. There is a multiple tools we're going to use, like we have in a DMS services and other third party services. We do have map tool and Azure Migrate. This is going to give you the discovery part. Post that, we do have assessment. Okay, so the assessment, it is going to give the recommendation whether your on premises database workloads is going to fit or not. If not, what are the dependencies we have? What are the dependencies we have, and what are the mitigation steps to plan? And post that, we just need to have some sort of past comparison of past model and the IaaS model. Within the past, we have an Azure SQL and Azure SQL managed instance. How it is going to give flexibility to you, and how it is going to fit for your business workloads to run the application to the cloud landscape. That it is going to give, and post that we have to do some migration plans. We have a lot more option to do migrations, like which I updated over here. Uh, So we have, migration approaches by using of DMS services. Okay, so and we do have, migration assistant, and a SQL Server extension into this Azure Data Studio, which is got new feature, and log relay services, and managed instance link. Okay, these are platform as a service kind of tools which are inbuilt provided by the Microsoft. You can leverage these services. So other migration approaches we do have, like you need to backups and restore, and by using of data migration service itself, we can able to do some migration. Not only it is going to give the flexibility of you know assessment that it will give us to migrate the workloads. And you can leverage this migration plan, like ADF as well. It is going to migrate your workloads on premises to cloud. So there is a multiple plans and approaches to do the migration. But so which one it is going to suit or which one it is not going to suit, it's depend upon, let's say if you have terabytes of data, so we have to use DMS services and all. Okay, so that it is going to depend upon your migration plan and assessment and workloads over here. And then we just need to, once the plan is done, you just need to go and have execute the migration approaches and implement and adapt, and then we'll have do some POC and test, and then we just need to migrate. So we'll continue this next uh, session. Please rejoin into this next session. Okay, so we have next 1 minute it's going to start.